On this episode of Street Rat Garage, we are here in not so sunny California to have a look around the neighborhoods and see what kind of vintage cars do they have laying around just on the street. Well, let's get started. So I'm currently visiting relatives in the Bay Area of California. Every time I come here, there's always a bunch of cars sitting around, just parked on people's driveways, on the streets. Lots of vintage cars just laying around. You don't see that hardly at all in the Midwest. So I thought I'd come out here and give you a tour and see what kind of cars we run across just cruising through the neighborhood in, like, I don't know, a 2-mile area. It's like maybe 2-mile square radius. We're going to see what kind of cars we see in people's driveways. So let's get on it. So I'm just cruising through some of the neighborhoods in the Bay Area here. In this particular area, pretty much all the houses look pretty much the same. I mean, a lot of these were built in the 50s and 60s. They're small houses, but they're rather expensive, actually. So you're looking at a 12, probably 9 to 1,500 square foot house is going to go for, well over $500,000 here in the Bay Area. But we are here to look at cars. I'm not talking about the housing situation here. So let's have a look. So parking is limited because these houses are small and they are put really close together. And I'm already coming up on one. I just got started, and let's look at that. We got an El Camino off to the right here. Let's have a look at that. Well, that right there looks like, I don't know, it's a 70s El Camino, 70, what year did they make those? That looks like 70 to 72, 70, 71, 72, El Camino right there. Sort of the Chevelle style. It kind of looks like it had a hood on it right there. But it's got some IROC rims on it. It's been sitting there for some time, but we don't want to sit in front of people's houses for too long. But that particular car, there wasn't any rust on it. I didn't see any on the quarter panels. If that had been in the Midwest, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, any of that, it probably would have had those quarter panels completely rusted out. Probably some frame damage because those cars, they weren't the best on keeping the frames up. And it definitely, if it had been sitting there for a long time, it definitely wouldn't have been in that good of shape. That one pretty much looks like you can throw some gasoline in it, put a fresh battery in it, start it, and go down the road. But those El Caminos in that particular shape, they're worth a good little bit of money. Probably, I'd say that one at about, I don't know, with no rust on it, probably about $6,000, $6,500, maybe $7,000 if it has a big block, maybe a little bit more if it's a 4-speed car with a big block. But I imagine that's probably just a 350 with an automatic transmission. So I'm gonna say $500 to $6,500 on that one. So who knows how long it's been sitting there. Most of these cars just sort of sit around and they really don't go anywhere. You see a few of them on the street, but mostly we see them just sitting in people's driveways or alongside the streets. So let's keep looking. Okay, it is about 10 seconds later, and this isn't a great one. We'll just do a slow drive-by on this one, but it's a Nova. What is that? Disco Nova. So 75, 6, 7, about 4-door. Look how good a shape it's in. That is in surprisingly good shape. Those cars just did not last at all in the Midwest. I had one about that same year, and it was totally messed up. But that's not a very desirable car, but in that condition, it would definitely be something that would be fun to just drive around, put some gas in it, and just drive it as a daily driver. There's a Toyota pickup truck. Those things rusted very, very bad in the Midwest. There's just I just don't see any around at all in the Midwest at all. But a lot of these cars are under car covers as well, so we won't be able to see everything. But like there's 2 cars right there. What are those? This is just how many there are. I think those, is that a couple Mustangs or something like that? There's an old Jeep right there that's covered up under a car cover. There's just all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of 80s cars here. Oh, this is a cul-de-sac. We'll go back out and go down another street. All right, I just turned off the cul-de-sac back on the main road and immediately run into this little Mitsubishi Mighty Max. I believe that's what it is. It doesn't look like they really drive it, but it's still plated. And well, you kind of got to keep your stuff plated around here. But another truck that rusts out just about all the old foreign cars and trucks from the 80s. They rust out pretty bad in the Midwest. The sheet metal is just super thin and they don't last. You get one little pit, a little bit of rust, and it's all over. Okay, so I'm only one more street over, and we're staring right at a I can't see the hood, but a 67 to 71 Chevy or GMC C10 truck that from here I'm probably zooming in editing so you can see it better, but no, doesn't look like there's any rocker panel rust, no cab rust. They rust up above the fender wells on the back all the time, and definitely the cab corners. Everything is good. It's got rust on it, just surface rust from the paint fading out, and that's about it. It looks like there's a little rust on top of the hood, the roof, and on those fenders, and that's it. Now that guy looks like he drives his truck, so good for him. Smile, you're on camera, what it says in his back. So he must get a lot of people looking at his truck there. So going on down the road, what else do we have in like a couple blocks? Okay, well, about 60 seconds later, we come up on this bay window Volkswagen bus with all the stickers on the back of it. I would say that's probably 74, 75-ish, something like that, right in that area. But man, that's in good shape. That is really, really good shape. It is. Man, that's nice. I would definitely like to have that one right there. There are definitely a ton of Volkswagens in this area too. I passed a couple that were in under tarps that I did not show you, but I'm getting ready to turn the corner here, and I already see another vintage vehicle just around the corner from the Volkswagen. I see 2 vintage vehicles. Let's have a look at that. So right there, looks like a 1968 Chevy Chevelle crew cab. Yeah, it's a 60. I'm pretty sure that's a 68, and it's a Chevelle Malibu. Man, that's clean. That is a clean car. There's no shortage of 4-doors either. And this GMC, it looks like he's got an LS engine in the back. He's getting ready to swap that one over. So just sitting out there on the street. Probably shouldn't have that engine out in the street like that. And whoop, there we go. There's a Monte Carlo. That's how fast these classic cars come up. I mean, they're absolutely everywhere. That's a 70 to 72 Monte Carlo. I can't tell. I'm a Monte Carlo guy, but not first gens. But that one's a little bit rough shape, but it's still, well, rough shape for California. Super good shape for Indiana. Let's see if we see anything else laying around here. Now, the one thing that California does not have a shortage of is Teslas. If there was a state car, it would be the Tesla for California. So Tesla, who else has a Tesla right around here? There's one over, there's one there. There's a Tesla. There's a Tesla. There's a Tesla. that's just one street. So yeah, every other car is a Tesla. There's a Tesla coming up behind me in the mirror. Same street. Tesla. Oh, square body. Square body. There you go. Oh, what is that? That's mid-70s square body. No rust on it. So if you were to be looking for something that would be inexpensive in California, but would cost you a good amount in the Midwest, that would be the square body truck. So 1974 to 86 square body trucks rust super bad in the Midwest, but they are absolutely all over the place here, and I'm sure you can pick one up for probably $2,500. Probably ride and drive. You probably drive it all the way back to Indiana, pull on a trailer with another square body on the back of it, and more than double your money. There's a Tesla. There's a Tesla. Well, here we go. Man, look at this neighborhood. El Camino. I don't know what that is. Plymouth, maybe. Jeep, a Metropolitan, Nash, and a Suburban. Did they make Suburbans already? I think so. Yeah. But I did see that Nash, that little red Nash before, and it had a for sale sign on it. And the last time I was here, I also saw it, and it still had a for sale sign then. A Prius. That's not a. I thought it was Tesla, but yeah, it's still for sale. But 50s truck, Chevy truck, 5-window. Well, that's nice too, right? It's all in primer, but it has no rust on it. Wow. It's only been about 10 minutes that I've been driving. So I'm turning around because I just need to get a better look at these cars right here. Especially this GMC two-door, I don't know what you call it, a GMC. Is it still a Suburban? It says custom on it. And this little Nash here that's been sitting up here for sale forever, but man, it's in really, really good shape. I think I'm too big to drive one of these things, but that is a cool little car. And I would also drive this. Oh, it's for sale too. This Willys is also for sale. Nice. Does it have a price on it? 17.5. That's a little salty, even as good of shape as it is in, but yeah, definitely a solid base to just drive something around. There's another Tesla, and oh, is that another Tesla or is that another Prius? Nope, that's a Tesla too. See, and another Tesla. Are you kidding me? Tesla is a state car, definitely a state car. And about another 60 seconds later, we come up on a 4-wheel drive, square body, step side. Did I say 4-wheel drive? Yeah, I said 4-wheel drive with a weird camper shell on it, but man, that's good shape. They also have a lot of 4-wheel drives here, which is kind of odd since it doesn't snow. There's another Tesla. Okay, so what is that? Is that like a Honda CCV or CVV or one of those little like 600cc Honda things? I think, but I'm not sure. But man, it is small. That thing is super, super tiny. What's it say? I can't read it. I don't want to get out. I do want to get out, but yeah, it says Honda on the back. Man, that thing's tiny. That is awesome. I'm going to guess very early 60s or late 60s, early 70s on that. I don't know anything about those cars, so put that in the comments if you know what that is. I'm sure it's one of those what evolved into a Civic, but Honda, they just had letters like CC or CIV or something. I don't know what it is, but it's here and it's still around, and you might be driving it. Looks like we're coming up on a Volkswagen underneath a tarp there. Can't even tell what about year it is. It looks like a 70s from the very bottom of the apron where the exhaust comes out, but nice Volkswagen. Okay, I popped out of that neighborhood and went about a mile down the street into another neighborhood and just turned it in, and is that a Mustang underneath of a cover? A lot of cars under the covers because the sun out here just tears up the paint, so you have to keep your stuff covered up. There's a little Jeep, another Jeep, a CJ5 it looks like, that's hiding underneath a cover. So there's just no parking around here. A lot of these people have half of their yard as their driveway because there's nowhere to park. Okay, there's something underneath this cover. Yeah, there it is. Look what's peeking out underneath there. We all know what that is. 1957 Chevy, and it's two-door and it's in good shape. I really didn't think I'd see one of those sitting out in the weather like this, even though it is covered up. I mean, if he's got that sitting outside, I wonder what he has inside that garage. That was a really nice car just sitting outside underneath the cover like that. But 57 Chevy. Oh, finally we see a Ford. For some reason, it's not my fault. There hasn't been any Fords to look at, but a super nice F-150 or 250 4x4 sitting there. I don't know what you call those step side bumps or bump sides, fleet sides, flare sides, flat sides, whatever they have going on there. But yeah, what is that, about a 79, 82, something right in there? Put that in the comments too, because I definitely don't know the Fords. There's another Tesla, but surprisingly, there are not a whole lot of Cybertrucks, even in California. Nobody wants them, apparently. But boy, those, yeah, these right here, what I was trying to, I don't know what model these are, Model S or something, I don't know. But those things are everywhere, especially in white. I guess we ought to talk about gas prices too. Surprisingly, it's not too bad. It's $3.79, $3.89 with card, $3.79 with cash. And it's also cheaper at Costco. I filled up $3.45, I think, was the price for credit. But Costco's always cheaper, pretty much no matter where you go. But it's actually not bad for California. That's actually really, really good. But there's still some places in the Midwest back home, it's only like, I think it was $250-ish, give or take. It's really low when I left and come here. So it's still like, $1 or so higher here. Now you see this little white Toyota Corolla right there? Very popular. I've seen about 5 or 6 of those things so far. Those are like the Tesla of the 90s, early 90s. So they're everywhere, and they're rust free, just like all of this other stuff. But for the most part, everybody's driving something like a Toyota Camry, Toyota Corolla. If they're not driving a Tesla, a Honda. There's a Malibu next to me over here. But most of the stuff is like Toyota, Honda, Lexus, Nissan, Toyota, what else? Lexus, Volkswagen. There's a Chevy, there's a Ford, there's another Ford, there's a Toyota, but mostly Hondas and Toyotas. But there's really not a lot of older cars driving around on the street. When I say older, like over 10 years old, I mean everything right around me in this general area looks to be like maybe 5 to 7 years or newer. So that Toyota Corolla was just an outlier in this particular community. I imagine if there's some other neighborhoods where that might not be the case, but right around here, right around in the Bay Area, most people drive newer cars, which is kind of odd because everything is right around close. You don't have to go 3 to 5 miles to get to anything around here. So you'd think cars would last longer and people wouldn't trade them in as often, but I guess it is California. You got to have the latest and greatest and best thing and keep up with the Joneses that live, you know, right next door to you. So yeah, a lot of nice cars around here. So we are currently in the city of San Leandro, and $3.79 for gas there. Yeah, it's a pretty populated area, but everything is here. Now I had to swing by and look at this. A Crown Vic police car, Oakland Police. Unbelievable. They still have a Crown Vic and it's in service, and it's in pretty good shape. Huh. Amazing. And coincidentally enough, oh, look at that Cadillac. See, he drove that to work. That's looking good right there. So yeah, you can't beat that. That's what I'd be rolling to work in every day. Old classic car. It just runs good and looks good. That's life. Might have been wrong. I just come back around the corner and went the other direction. I looked at that, what I thought was a Cadillac, but it might have been a Lincoln. I just caught a glimpse of the pop-up headlights. I don't think Cadillac had big door pop-up headlights, right? In that year of car, so probably a Lincoln. So maybe that was another Ford, but still a nice car. All right, well, I've been looking around at some cars and just driving just a little bit, and I seem to have crossed the line somewhere. I don't know what happened, but this is not the best neighborhood. It changed real quick. That's the thing. Also, the thing about California, you got good neighborhood, then all of a sudden it's bad neighborhood. So, yeah, this is not the greatest, but still. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Pull up a little bit. There's an old, what is that? Back there in the corner. Right there. I can't tell what that is. Right there. There's two. There's look like an old Chevy truck and maybe a Ford Falcon or something back there. Just shoved back there. Oh. And I hope that sound I heard was a firework and not a gunshot. So. You know, still, no matter what neighborhood you are in, there are cool cars all over California. I seriously don't know what happened, but I absolutely crossed the line somewhere. But again, you can't see them, but there's a whole row of vintage cars in this undesirable neighborhood that are just covered up, and they're nice. And even this old Ford Ranger right here is nice. But yeah, this is some sort of storage place for vintage vehicles or something, but there's a whole bunch of them in there, all covered up, looking nice. And even right along the street, there's a Cadillac. There's a Camaro.
Then turn right onto
Camaro 7123 Cadillac, and it's for sale. Man, this street is cramped. Old Monte Carlo, another old Monte Carlo. I really like those. I'm gonna get one of those one of these days. Maybe I can find one in California, fix it up and drive it back. That'd be cool, right? Okay, I think this is where I went wrong. These are the tracks right here, and apparently I was on the wrong side of them. Actually, that's the BART system up there, the BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit System. I think that's what it stands for. But yeah, sometimes you get on the wrong side of the tracks and you have to get back. Well, apparently I was correct, because as soon as I crossed those tracks, we're back in the nicer part of town, and everything is as it should be. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm almost out of battery now, and I have to head back. I'm about 4 miles away from where I started from, so I think we went about 5 miles out at the maximum, and that absolutely chock full of old vintage cars, but mostly Teslas. So if you want something nice and that's in really good shape, there's nothing wrong with California. It's a very nice place to visit and buy cars here. As for living here, well, it's kind of expensive. Tiny houses cost $500,000, and there's way too many people. But I wish it was it's usually a lot more sunny than this. I wish it was sunny so you could see all nice sunny California, but today is wet and drizzly, but it's still like 50 something degrees, so it's 20 degrees back at home. Still better than being at home. So that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Street Rat Garage. Until next time.